As you can see behind me, some of the 18 trucks are still on fire, but a contingent of firefighters are on scene. The moment we arrived, almost 2 hours this morning, they were already on scene trying to put out the blaze. And what is concerning is that most of these trucks were carrying a lot of merchandise, because we will recall that 2 weeks ago during the Easter weekend, an incident of similar nature happened where 8 trucks were looted and then burnt beyond recognition. And as we gather right now, it is the same reason that they gave us 2 weeks ago. Drivers are complaining that foreign nationals are allegedly stealing their jobs, saying that most of these companies are actually opting to hire foreign nationals who don't really have to be paid much. Meanwhile, most of them are not being hired because most of the time they will actually consider worrying about wage increase and every other employee particulars, because we will remember that these routes, actually, this is where you find trucks traveling for long distances, transporting goods to various companies around the country. And of course, this will have a hard knock on our economy, because most of these merchandises are sent to various companies, which actually boost distribution and consumer distribution in terms of goods. Right now, I have with me the MEC for Community Safety, Transport and Liaison, Mr. Mxolisi Kaunda, who arrived on scene this morning, because we will gather that 54 of the looters and protesters from last night were actually arrested. A very good morning to you, MEC. I gather that you've just come from the police station.
Good morning, and good morning to your viewers.
This is a very devastating matter, because just 2 weeks ago, a similar accident happened.
Of course, we are concerned and we wish to condemn this act of barbaric, which we view it as a criminality act in its nature. We are aware and acknowledge that there are labor disputes. Part of those labor disputes are concerning the drivers who have been raising their complaints that there is a massification on the employment of African nationals from other countries. Hence, they are closing a space for them for job opportunities. So that's a matter which is a dispute matter in terms of labor issues. So we acknowledge that. But the action on its own is just a pure criminality, which must be condemned with all the contempt which it deserves, and ensure that we arrest those who are involved. We are happy that the police have acted. About 54 people who are arrested already. I've just met with the drivers, those who were saved from this situation. They've raised their concern, and they also shared with me their experience, what actually transpired here at night yesterday. But as provincial government, I'm about to meet with the law enforcement agencies to get the full report, and from there we'll develop a plan which will be sustainable. Remember that it happened 2 weeks ago, so we're supposed to avert this not to happen again. So we need to sit down with the police and develop clear plans which needs to assist us in terms of intervening in the situation. Remember, the area where we are is a poverty-stricken area, and the people must also know that. And by so saying that, we are not saying people they must come and loot. There are interventions by provincial government to deal with the issues of economy in the area, resuscitation of industries, as you have been observing that most of the industries left the area. But with all this situation, it doesn't assist us as government, because the investors who may be having interest to come and invest in this area, they'll be hesitant to do so. So therefore, we are encouraging communities to distance themselves. Whatever happens here, it shouldn't become an issue of communities coming and loot in the trucks because of their socio-economic conditions. But it should be a criminality act which must then face the music afterwards. So therefore, we are clear as provincial government that those who are arrested, they must face the music, and they were found as stolen goods. So there will be no indemnity on the basis on the issues of socio-economic standards of the area. But we are calling upon the communities to bear with us and to be cautious. Those who are motorists, we are diverting vehicles so that we are able to clear the area We are busy clearing the area and we'll be able to notify them when the situation is okay for them to commute in this route. Otherwise, we are concerned about their safety, but we are also lucky that in all those trucks, about 17 of them who were burnt, no life have been lost. And there are minor injuries which we have observed from other drivers, and I'm sure they'll be going to clinic and sort that out. But we are saying to the community, let's work together. This is a situation which requires us as government and the communities to join our hands and efforts to avert this thing to happen again.
Thank you very much, MEC.
Thank you.
That was MEC for Transport, Community Safety and Liaison in the province, Mr. Mxolisi Kawonda, briefing us that he has already been to the police station to visit those apprehended and as well as the drivers who were saved when these trucks were looted and then burnt to the ground last night. We will be keeping track of the story as it develops, but it's back to studio for now.
Indeed, and that is our reporter, Sibonga Mbata, coming to us from the N3 in Mooi River, where we saw those trucks being burned down.